Mark, are you going to fix that?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Downtime. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have, as usual, Commander Lance McMillan is with us. Also, we have Isandring joining us to say hi, and also Dunc from the Shills to say hi. And it looks like the Shills may have also raided, so thank you guys so much for joining us.
Well, they got nothing better today.
Well, okay. I may have slightly insulted one of the guests behind the scenes. I won't say which one, but to be fair,
It was me.
I thought it would be rude.
How could you insult such a cute little green thing?
Yes, it's all right. You get plenty of insults when you come over our side, so it's allowed.
He doesn't have to go to your side to get insults. He just gets lots of insults.
Yeah, I do a regular show with Isandring, so it comes with the territory. And Isandring just decided to play a really mean trick on me, which I'm still very
Discombobulated, obviously.
Guests have a mean echo.
Oh no.
All right, let me see. That may do it. Hopefully that'll do it.
Downtime to assuage your sore throat.
I'm not hearing any echo.
Yeah, no, there's a rare instance where we get when we play media, it screws up with the and then okay, it sounds like it's not fixed for you guys. This is really So you guys are echoing, but I have no idea why.
We can have a lot of fun with it. Marco!
Okay, so Rubia.
Genghis.
You know what? I'm wondering if.
Oh, wait, leave it. Don't fix it. That's frickin'.
Okay, that did not seem to fix it. I'm curious if. Okay, there's one other thing I'm going to try here, and if not, I don't know. I guess we're all just going to be screwed.
It'll just sound like a regular CB conversation with superchargers. You're like trying to figure out what the hell are you saying? Turn your echo down a little.
That is weird. I have no idea why we would be getting an echo off of this. Well, that's one thing that could potentially do it.
Sunday, you pay for the whole seat.
So, Commander, could I get a sound check from you for a sec?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
Oh, you're not echoing anymore.
Yeah, but I can't hear him now.
That's a good thing.
I was about to say, this is a problem. Why? Wait, I'm still echoing, I think, aren't I? Let me turn it up. Yes, I am still echoing.
Well, you actually are. You're also listening to the. Okay, so it got fixed for Commander.
I have to listen to the show to find out if I'm echoing on the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna shut down any audio bus that I don't actually need.
What's that button do?
You know what? Oh my God!
It's your fault. You said, "Hey, we want to be a great thing to do. Let's call Isandring and invite him onto a downtime."
That's true. That really was my idea, and I am now paying. Let me. So, oh, you know what? No,
This is such a nostalgic show with spending the first
I know
10 minutes figuring out the audio issues.
So, what's all right, there we go. So, M, they're all going through M. So what's happening is there's got to be another. I'm betting. Test with Isandring, he's the worst. No, we're not talking like personal stuff. This is audio. Oh, his audio was the worst. Yeah, that's probably.
I can hear everyone fine. Can you hear me, Nick?
I can hear you fine. I turned off.
8 audio buses.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's not fixed. I'm still echoing. Do you want me to go out and come back in?
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're all fixed. The reason this was happening was was a problem I haven't done in like 5 or 6 years. That's how much you distracted me, Isandring. Just during
yes, it's my fault, obviously.
Yes, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die! Stop! And then cut off the phone. So I forgot to put my headphones on and had speakers. It was the speakers on my end. I was the one who had the speakers on.
Oh, you're causing.
I forgot to put the. So I'm going to assume that we're now. So everybody, I would like to welcome you to the show.
Thanks for coming and good night.
Commander McMillan. Somebody needs to.
Yes,
Dick. That was it.
With a set of headphones.
I'm embarrassed that Dick was here to see that. That's like old school. That is like you learn not to do that by your 4th show. If you haven't learned that by your 4th show. And I was just like, I'm not wearing my headphones. You guys are all hearing an echo from the. Oh god. Stop. Okay. Look, we're doing a show. We're going to be professional going forward. There's Commander McMillan, Green Dude, and Dude I'm not talking to anymore. That's who the guests are for tonight, and it's gonna be a good show, and you're all gonna be delighted that you hit the like and subscribe and like super chatted.
We need all these people.
Totally.
Yeah, we need all these people tonight because there's nothing going on in the world that's worth talking about. So we just needed people to bounce silliness off of.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, I was sitting there going like, okay, look, it's a downtime. A lot of our downtimes we've kind of turned into an in time because everything has been kind of crazy. And we still should, cover stuff, but I figured if you're going to cover serious stuff and be silly about it, you got to get Dunc on. So I was just like, okay, we got Dunc on. I really don't know what Isandring's doing here. He's obviously here just to mess with my head. And Lance is just enjoying himself.
As always.
So, we're going to talk about mines. Is that okay with everybody?
Well, before we do that, okay. I wanted to bring up one little thing.
Yes.
Apparently, Kash Patel has announced that he's going to be using WWE fighters to train the new U.S. Marshal classes.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. I wanted to make sure I could tell everybody that so they'd feel reassured and comfortable.
They're massively athletic. I mean, just look at the moves that they can do. I mean, it's one-on-one combat, mano a mano.
So what, they're going to fake combat from now on?
That would be reassuring.
Yeah, I'd feel safer.
Recent activities.
Yeah, you really.
Well, here's something.
Yeah, please.
Since we're sharing quick stories before we go on, and you have the last 2 after shows where you terribly decision to hang around and listen to me ramble on after the show ends, depressing you and just glooming you completely out with like, wait, aren't you supposed to like be uplifting instead of making me want to go, sit in a garage with a running car for a while? So
yes, an accurate description of the after show. Yep.
So yes, I do have another, in honor of Dunc being with us, I have another awesome story to share with you.
Okay.
Okay. The beautiful tortoiseshell butterfly has apparently recolonized England decades after elm disease had eliminated it.
Oh, now we can go and collect them and put them in jars.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems to be a permanent return of the large, spectacular species after Dutch elm disease killed it off from the island. Unlike the small tortoiseshell butterfly, the large tortoiseshell butterfly hasn't been a resident of the UK since the 1960s. But after several years of continuous, widespread sightings, it's clearly no longer just a migratory visitor.
So you're saying it's an immigrant?
Apparently, yes.
We have
Like
extra
that.
ice
Don't like that
agents
over
we
here.
can send you.
Yeah. Britain is getting a bit touchy about immigrants at the minute.
Yeah, I was actually also.
Isn't?
I was also curious to see like the UK's perspective on Stammer now saying, oh, we're gonna send an aircraft carrier up there to help out and just Americans in general.
Well, they could use the help.
Yeah, there's spare aircraft carriers lying around these days.
Well, somebody said, why hasn't Trump? So I was reading The Independent, and somebody had asked, why isn't Trump sending escort craft through the Strait of Hormuz to escort these oil ships, which they are now hitting and blowing up. So this is this is one right after Trump said, okay, it's safe to, he announced it was safe to go through the Strait of Hormuz. This was the first tanker that tried to do that after he said it. I guess
It was a smoking incident.
Oh yes, there was a Russian guy with a cigarette who, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We know how the Russians with cigarettes are.
But they got, I guess, two other ships did get through. And so the White House press secretary came out and said, well, you see, 2 ships got through. There are no mines. It's not a problem. I'm just sitting there going, like, she's just saying that because ships happen to get through. It's like, there could still be mines. You haven't done the mine sweeping. You haven't checked. You haven't, nothing. It's just like, oh, we're declaring it safe because 2 ships got through.
Hey, that's a 66.6% success rate.
Yeah, I suppose.
The lovely thing about mines is you don't actually have to put any in the water. All you have to do is say you did. And insurance companies jack the rates way up immediately.
Or cancel coverage entirely for anybody stupid enough to try and drive into a minefield.
And that has no effect on international shipping.
No.
No,
I mean, we don't really get anything out of the Persian. Well, I guess it's not the Persian Gulf anymore.
Arabian Gulf.
Yeah, we don't really get anything out of there. They're not a big shipper of goods and commodities. So I'm sure this won't have an impact anywhere.
Oh, no. Well, and despite saying that he's going to open up the National Strategic Reserve at, I think, 183 million barrels. And
No. We did not fill it before this. It was left
the
the
Strategic
language
Reserve?
emptied.
Yeah, it's only 58%.
Strategic Reserve is empty.
Oh, it's completely empty.
Yeah, pretty much. I think there's still residual, like 20% in it, but nowhere near to weather us through this crisis.
I thought...
Well, unless the government is lying, which could potentially... I could never picture the government lying. They claim it's at 58%, 14 million barrels. Yeah.
Why don't they ship sand instead? Because that's less flammable. They got plenty of it.
Well, and hey, if they light the smoking lamp aft on the fantail, as that ship obviously did, when you arrive, you've got beautiful glass.
Yep, that's true. So we've got 3 aircraft
I mean, if you
carriers.
ship the sand.
If you ship the sand, and if you find a way to heat it sufficiently, which sand by itself with a cigarette may not turn into glass. I haven't done the experiment, but I'm pretty sure you need more heat.
Yeah, I think you need a whole pack of cigarettes, I think.
Yeah.
Science denier.
Science denier. Well, you could send it to Iran. So the Iranians have come out and said that basically if we don't immediately stop shooting, immediate ceasefire, if we don't make reparations for all the damage we've done, like that's not going to happen. And I think there was one other condition. They're going to significantly increase their attacks on infrastructure. And if their infrastructure gets hit, they'll also, the eye for an eye, and they've been talking about that for a little while. They retaliated on one desalination plant that got hit, and they retaliated. Other than that, they haven't done it. But these new cluster bombs that they've been dropping in Israel seem to be just cutting through Iron Dome. Is that accurate, Commander?
Yeah. I mean, Iron Dome's taking out some of it, but it's not designed to say, oh, look, here comes a missile, and then put up, 1 or 2 intercepts to take us out, and then suddenly one missile turns into 20 missiles. It's going to be challenged in that kind of a scenario. And you fire enough of those at roughly the same time, and you very quickly overwhelm any air defenses that the Israelis have.
And Hezbollah officially declared war. I think it was yesterday, which I didn't realize they hadn't declared war, but they've officially declared war. I don't know if that changes anything.
Well, at least somebody has.
Yeah, no shit.
No, it's a special military a combat military operation.
Just
He's
when you
taking lessons from the Russians.
I know, and just when you think he couldn't get any more like Putin, he, and I mean, any word from, my understanding is that the MAGA base is split, but some of them are starting to come on board with this and say, yeah, it had to be done. And I don't know if his propaganda videos, but what are your thoughts on those propaganda videos? He's dropped another 2 since last time we talked about it. One is him walking with a bunch of badass soldiers, and it's almost like one of these 𝐒𝐸ₐ videos. And he's it's got music from what sounds like they ripped off the Mission Impossible soundtrack, and they got jets flying, things blowing up, and then the other one is a golf game.
Nick,
yeah.
I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
It's not like a 𝐒𝐸ₐ video because it didn't cost him $200 million.
Yeah, he's breaking out. The last one, he broke out the Nintendo 64. The old 64-bit, and it's just it's a golf game, a Mario golf game, I think. And then when he gets a hole in one, they show these explosions and all this other stuff. How many? Even Seth Rogen said he thought this was disgusting. How many people is this appealing to? Does this work with his base? Is it why his numbers actually appear to be, with his base?
It works with certain sections of his base. The trouble is many of them are put off by the fact that he kept promising, I'm going to get us out of all foreign wars. We're going to start withdrawing from the world. We're going to, American isolationist, America first.
America first, yeah.
Yeah. And instead, here we are. Well, we're going to attack Venezuela. Now we're going to attack Iran, and maybe Cuba's next. And oh, by the way, we still want Canada and Greenland. And what the hell, So a lot of people are losing faith in this self-proclaimed peacemonger because he's saying one thing out of one end and pooping out other stuff at the other end.
Well, he did say that because he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, that he's going to turn around and be the opposite. So
So he's looking for the Nobel War Prize. I got it.
Yeah.
I wish you were joking. That's exactly. He said. Well, he calls up Was it Norway? Yeah, he called up Norway and said, because you guys didn't give me the Peace Prize, and it's like the Norwegian government doesn't control who gets the Peace Prize, but that notwithstanding, he's literally like, well, because you didn't give it to me, I have no choice but to go out and attack other countries.
Yeah, because that's how it works, obviously.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, my God.
So the Peace Prize is a bribe to keep you from attacking people. Got it. Now I understand.
I was a deterrent.
Well, I thank God. Imagine if he hadn't gotten at least the FIFA one. I'm starting to think that mocking the FIFA Peace Prize was a bad idea, because he took it seriously enough that he bailed on attacking Greenland. So, I don't know. Maybe like some international golf tournament should give him another Peace Prize, and maybe he'd leave Iran alone. Maybe that's where we went wrong.
Jeez.
So, France and the UK are each sending at least one aircraft carrier. Are they going to be able to do any good? Does anyone think? What are we? They're
not sending them out to support the American military. They're out there to defend UK interests or French interests.
So, but I would assume what that means is helping French ships through the strait, but there's no way to do that without getting involved in some way. Or unless they're going to do something else. What else are they going to do there?
The other interesting thing that needs to be brought into the equation is that Britain and France still have minesweepers and mine hunters.
Oh,
we don't. Like 2 months before this exciting little adventure into stupidity, we decommissioned the 4 that were in Bahrain. And I think they arrived the day after the bombing started in some East Coast port. I thought it was Baltimore, but I'm not sure anymore. But yeah, they're brought home on the back of a float-on, float-off heavy carrier.
Can we get them? I mean, if they've been decommissioned, does that mean? I mean, is it just easier to rebuild one than to recommission it, or can you recommission it?
But it's less that than you have to train the crews on how to do that job, which is a very complicated and unique job. And if these things have been out of service, hunting down people that still have the skill sets necessary to make those work, that's tough.
What you're saying is we're going to be seeing something like in Periscope Down, where they had to go and dredge out all of the really old people to see how a diesel U-boat works.
Yeah, Lance is going to be drafted.
Yeah, no, I never got into mine yards. Thank God. But yeah, it's a unique and difficult job. If you want to get a real eye-opening thing, look at just the list of minesweepers that were in commission during World War II and the Korean War, and see how many of them are sunk by mines. Oh, it's an exceptionally dangerous job.
That was
so they did their job then.
Say again, Nick.
That was my understanding, is that it's extraordinarily dangerous, and that but
and very time consuming. So if the French and British are going to get involved sending minesweepers to clear the channel just enough to be able to say, yeah, it's safe to send ships through here, after the U.S. has neutralized all the coastal missile batteries and small attack craft and everything, that would probably be the most constructive thing they could do if they wanted to get their own merchant ships, passing through the strait.
But they'd also have to stop Iran laying more mines, wouldn't they?
Yeah. And as I've mentioned before, the laying of mines, you don't need a special mine laying craft. You can literally put it in the back of a large motorboat.
Right.
Just kick it off the back.
Yeah.
They're not interested in where they lay the mine. All they want to do is put it in the water so it makes it impossible or difficult to safely transit the strait.
Well, and I mean, if you tell any captain, okay, don't worry, there's only one mine somewhere in that strait, there's only one. So, nobody's going to go through as long as there's even one.
And if I recall correctly, and this is based off of 20-year-old information, back then at least, the Iranians were thought to have between 12 to 20,000 naval mines stockpiled. And to make sure that the audience understands, mines in the modern sense are not the same as the ones you see in all the World War I and World War II movies, where this big circular thing with spikes sticking out of is bobbing up and down in the water. It's not. Many of them are bottom influence mines, so they literally, you dump them in the water, they sink to the bottom. Some of them actually have devices to bury themselves in the silt, and then they just use sensors to detect when a hull is passing over them. And the sensors can be sophisticated enough that you can say, don't attack small boats, only attack large ones that are the size of, say, aircraft carriers or super tankers. So you got that. They also have what are called tethered captor mines, which are, it floats a little bit off the bottom and not below the surface, but all the way to the bottom. And it's basically a homing torpedo. But it's the same thing. It's listening for a ship going by. And then after it's passed, it'll have a time delay on it and say, 2 minutes after it's passed, activate and go. That makes it even harder to find the other mines of that type that were laid in that field previously, because the torpedo's driving itself up to hit the ship. So, these are very, very sophisticated and very dangerous devices.
And then I got from The Independent, I got this. It took me a little while. Was The Independent, the use of English language in published media is just going straight to hell. This is a picture. It says the cargo ship carrying 4 decommissioned minesweepers.
Yep.
Now, 4 FOR. So I read this and was like, oh, they have a cargo ship that's explicitly for carrying decommissioned mines. That doesn't make any sense.
That's a flow ship. So what happens, the orange portion of that picture, that thing sinks down in the water.
Oh,
and then you drive small craft, or in some cases, destroyers, which we did once, and you put it on there, and then it floats itself back up, and it carries that thing somewhere else. So minesweepers are small boats, and it's really difficult for them to do a cross-ocean transit. So this is typically the way you want it to be done.
Okay, so
the ship in the foreground,
is
the littoral combat ship, and supposedly those ships have a mine countermeasures module which you can plug into the back end, which makes it kind of a minesweeper.
So it's countermeasures. So basically, it has to trigger or come close to triggering the mine in order to activate the countermeasure, and then it's swept for the mine. Is that?
Yeah, because a lot of mines used to, and still many do, use magnetic influence. So what it's looking for is the magnetic signature of a hull passing over it. So actual minesweepers or mine hunters are built of wood or glass reinforced plastic. So they don't have that big of a magnetic signature. But as you can imagine, a large explosion going off in close proximity to wood or glass reinforced plastic tends to do catastrophic damage to said vessel.
Jesus, yeah, that's the wood is just going to become shrap. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear "oops" on one of those boats.
Yeah. So most mine clearance these days is done using either influence sleds that are towed behind helicopters.
Yeah,
Because
I was
if
going to
mine
say,
goes up, it's not going to sink a helicopter because it's not in the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I was going to say wasn't there lots of aerial
Right,
mine
that's
sweeping
part of what
technology?
they do. And they also do what's called mine hunting, which is distinct from sweeping. Sweeping is you just go back and forth over an area and say, "Hey, look, I'm a ship. Blow up now." And you're doing it with pretend devices to pretend there's a ship there to trick the mine. But that doesn't work for all mines, and it's particularly ineffective against bottom influence mines. So for that action, you use mine hunting. And what you do is you actually are using side scanning sonar to look for lumps in the bottom that are suspicious. They use marine mammals like dolphins to go down and locate them. And then they're trained to go down and put a little explosive charge next to the mine, which then gets set off after the very expensive dolphin gets out of the way.
You hope.
Yeah, you hope.
Yeah.
You do not want to see the training grounds for where they figure out how to actually get a good training program to make this work.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they're using World Wrestling Championships to teach the dolphins.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's the thing to understand is that if the Iranians say they have laid mines, then shipping insurance rates are going to go way up, and people are going to be very reluctant to transit the strait until a trustworthy authority has said the mines are cleared, or enough ships have transited the area so you can ascertain to some degree of reliability that there aren't any mines, at least along this narrow channel that we've cleared. But if you're going to
by
be
sending actual ships through it.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're going to be doing mine clearance between the mine sweeping, which is long and laborious, and the mine hunting, which is even more so, you're looking at months, not weeks, which is what even the doomsayers from the White House are trying to say, let alone days, which is what the Orange God King is telling us.
Yeah, talking of insurance, I thought it was kind of interesting that can't remember the figure, but Trump has found $20 billion in the Treasury that apparently didn't exist to shore up the insurance on vessels. But that must come as great comfort to the people who are on board those ships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's insured now. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, at least now, if I die in a big, huge ball of flames, my family will get compensated. Yeah.
And the company will be all right.
You know what? Though, truth be told, that's the thing. That's a bit of the weird thing about this, which is with any other enemy, like the reason we worked so quickly was because the vice president of Venezuela was not a religious zealot. She wanted to live. She knew we could kill her. We said we'd do worse to her than we did to Maduro. And she's just like, my new favorite country is the U.S. Let me give you 400 million barrels or whatever was on that ship, and we'll all work together. And he's like, great, this is going to work together. And I don't think he understands.
And he still thinks that's regime change, which really isn't.
Yeah. And Venezuela's corrupt as hell, and they just changed who's leading the corruption. It's now Trump. What he doesn't understand is, all of these people really, not all of them, but a large number of them believe that they are ordained by God to be there, and that he's fucking with it, so they're ordained by God to be able to fuck with him back, kill anybody they want to. Whoever they kill, even if they're civilian, ends up being martyred, so they go to heaven anyway, so it's okay. And they will not, if you say, well, we'll kill you all, they're like, okay, well, then I get martyred, so thank you. You have a great day. And I don't think he can comprehend somebody who, now, I I do not agree with those values. That's one reason why I'm an anti-theist. But I do understand them. I understand that they've got them, and I understand what the implications are. Trump doesn't seem to get that. Once he's done
any of his cronies, because to them the only thing that's holy is money, and they don't understand that a lot of the people in the hierarchy in Iran, it's not about the money, it's about the power and the control, and to some extent, at least for a portion of the government, it's about the religious purity of what they're doing. And
I can see
the alien concepts.
The clouds are splitting. Yep. I can see the ray of sun coming through the clouds. It's the money.
Yeah.
And that's
it sounds like a joke, but it isn't. That's what's frightening.
His two sons are now
didn't do a good enough job then.
They've got a drone company that has just bought out or is buying out a golfing company that has like a whole bunch of golf courses in Florida. I have no idea what they're doing that. They say it's for testing grounds, but they're getting an exclusive U.S. contract. So Trump's sons are going to be making, and the Pentagon gave them an exclusive contract to make drones for the U.S. Oh, who would have thunk that was going to happen? But to the point that you alluded to, though, unfortunately, Trump doesn't see, understand, or care about that ideology. And the problem is a very similar ideology is infecting the White House. We played the clip from of Douglas Wilson, who is the pastor who is a minister for Pete Hegseth, who is a Christian nationalist. They think roughly the same way. They don't, and except of course by their interpretation, they're the ones who are going to win in this biblical, UFC fight, which is really what it is. It's absolutely insane. So we're heading into a
expected anything else from this administration?
I didn't expect the tolerance for religious, not only tolerance, but the embracing of the far right. I don't know why I didn't expect it. I should have. They've got money, and like you said, that's what he values. So I guess I should have expected it. But he doesn't like shit that wastes his time. At least that was my thinking. He doesn't like shit that wastes his time, and religious zealots waste his time. Well, no, not if they're paying him enough. He's willing to sit and have them all lay hands on him and do all this other stuff. I'd be running out of the room.
Have you seen the Iranian memes that have been coming out about that?
No, but they're hilarious though.
Yeah, it's got one of those pictures of the White House prayer breakfast and all these people leaning in to lay their hands upon the glorious orange savior. And so lots of Iranians are out putting up silly pictures of, their families putting it on, laying their hands on the gardener or something.
Oh, I'm surprised they haven't done more memes. I have seen a couple on X. X seems to be actually turning on Trump over the videos that he's been doing. A lot of people on X seem to be pissed about that, which, again, mildly surprised because it's just so far to the right. It doesn't seem like Trump can do any wrong. But I saw on his last video, the Mario Brothers one, Mario Golf, it was people saying I had to check 3 times to make sure that this was not a parody account. Like, this is the White House account. They're like, this can't be real. You dishonor it. And just a huge, and then for that, for every 3 or 4 of those, there was one person like, I love it when these things come out. Everybody, all the woke cry. I was like, there ain't that many woke left on X, dude. This is your crowd, not mine. So
it's kind of pathetic, though, that is the only thing they care about is upsetting the lefties and upsetting the woke crowd. You know, there's more to the planet Earth than the left and the woke.
How dare you?
Is there? Yeah. So basically, I saw there are a couple of different polls. One of them said about 24% of people who say they're on the right, 20% of them think this will be over within a couple of weeks. About 30% of them thought that this would be over within a couple of months, and the remaining 36% basically said it's going to be at least till the end of the year before this is over. And this is people on the right.
Yeah, but how can you define that if we don't know what the goals are?
Well, that's a really good question.
That was the point I made on Tuesday. Was like, you were like, well, how do you think this is going to go? You think we're going to get mired down, or is it actually going to rat? And I'm like, I have no idea what in the hell their actual goal here is. I don't know why they went into the first place. I don't think
they know what their goal is. I don't think they even thought about that for more than about 2 milliseconds before they decided to punch the button.
No, that was one of the memes I saw was an AI of Netanyahu grinning from ear to ear, blood dripping on all sides of him, saying, "Yay, I got the Goyim to die for Israel." And I'm not sure that's entirely wrong. Yeah. So, and it was I have to believe it was an Iranian meme, but I who knows who made it. So I saw you nodding your head at least through the end of the year, and yeah, so when you said that, Isandring, I didn't take it seriously. When Dunc says the same thing, I'm interested. Yeah.
I see how this goes.
Okay. Oh, good. This saves me having to explain it another time. So I saw you nodding your head on till the end of the year. I mean, at first, I was just trying to think, okay, let's assume I wanted to extricate myself from this as quickly as possible, which I don't think Trump wants to do. But I do think he thinks he can. He thinks what he's going to do is say, listen, we've chopped off the head. We've done what we came for. It's just like what he did in Venezuela. He said, well, we've stopped all the fentanyl that wasn't coming from Venezuela in the first place. Everything's fine. We're moving on. That worked in Venezuela. That's not going to work here because they're not going to open the strait. So I think at least as long as they control the strait, we're in a war, and maybe longer. So I saw you nodding. So you think it's going to be at least till the end of the year?
Yeah, and I think honestly, we're almost in a situation where to end the problem, and I'm not even talking about the whole war. I'm just talking about the strait closure. To end that problem, we are going to have to put troops on the ground. You need to take 𝐋𝐚𝐬 Island. You need to take Abu Musa, Greater and Lesser Tome, Syria, all those little islands that are in the channel, plus the coastline on either side of the narrowest part of the strait, which is where you can literally have a truck with an old 1950s era coastal silkworm missile to shoot at a passing tanker.
How long do you think before...
That really is a narrow channel.
Yeah, it is. I mean, at its narrowest point, it's just under 20 miles across.
And I think I had pictures of the islands that you were talking about because somebody had said first those 3, but then a whole bunch of others that you have to take if you want to control the channel and keep the mine laying out. And I guess Saudi Arabia used to own 3 of those islands. They left, and when they left, who's their neighbor
the
to the south?
Have long been under dispute. And sometime, I think it was in the 50s, the Iranians simply moved in and occupied them with forces, and neither the UAE, who own or have claim to most of them, or Saudi Arabia, who has claim to one or two of them, wanted to really get in a fight over the stupid thing, because there's nothing on them. They're literally just heaps of sand, basically. But our good friends, the Iranians, saw their strategic value, and basically each one is a World War II style Japanese fortified trench system.
Jesus. And they've been preparing for this for a while.
They knew that if ever came to a confrontation with the West, that was one of the things they were going to have to do, is neutralize those islands.
So
can I bring up a thing about the whole timeline? Whether it's going to be like 2 weeks or a year. It's interesting if you look back at the history of Trump and his amazing accomplishments around the world.
Yeah.
The news cycle on all these things, like you're taking Greenland, Venezuela, all these sort of things. There's a news cycle that runs for about 3 weeks. Then Trump gets bored and then moves on to the next one, the next point of chaos, and that's what he's about. It's just chaos around the world, just to keep his regime going. I think in this case he's made a misstep, because yes, he will be bored in a couple of weeks and will want to get out, but Iran's not going to let him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's the same conundrum that's confronting Putin with regards to Ukraine.
Yeah.
To have an end to a war requires either you occupying the entire country or having a negotiation where you have to make concessions. And he thinks you can just walk away and nothing will happen. It's, I did my part, mission accomplished, hang the banner on the carrier as you come home.
And again, as far as Ukraine was concerned, Putin thought it was just going to be a few weeks.
Days.
I think he thought it was going to be 3 days. That was what I recall the original estimate was. And to be fair, I've been doing going through some of our older clips. Even Lieutenant General Benjamin Hodges said, I got that one wrong. He goes, I said a couple of days too. He goes, I'm glad I was wrong, but because that was a professional misstep there. Because I said,
you'll remember what I said. It'll either be over in 3 days or it'll take more than 3 years.
It'll take, yes, you did. Yep, yes, you did. And I remember sitting there going like, there's no way this thing's going to go years. Who is this commander guy?
I thought you said, get off my lawn.
Well, that too.
So how long before somebody and what's it going to take for somebody at the Pentagon, because I assume Trump is never going to make this realization on his own. Somebody like Hegseth is going to have to make it and then tell him, this is what we have to do, or accept the Strait of Hormuz is never going to be open again and they own it. Those are our choices.
No, you're going to have a grown-up there, sorry.
Hegseth isn't going to do it because he does not want to be the bearer of bad news. He'll delegate that to somebody else.
Makes sense. He'll delegate, hopefully, Kash Patel.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Well, I could see Kash falling for it because he's so wow. But how long do you think before the U.S. makes a realization that kind of commitment is needed? How long before we make that commitment? And these are huge speculations. Yeah.
Yeah. I would wager that virtually any military officer who looked at what we were talking about knew that there was no real exit strategy, that it was just, let's start a war. Then people won't talk about Epstein so much. They looked at it. They looked at War Plan 1003 or 1004 and realized that ages ago, when this was studied into the ground, we estimated that to defeat Iran in a ground campaign to occupy the country would take a minimum of 3 years. and probably said, this is the stupidest thing we've ever tried to do. You cannot bomb a country into submission. It doesn't work.
Well, what was their estimation on Afghanistan? I bet that was completely wrong as well.
Yeah, but the issue there is that when they initially started in Afghanistan, the idea was we'd have very limited special forces presence to coordinate with the anti-Taliban resistance, the Northern Alliance, and we would support them. They would defeat the Taliban, and then they would establish the new government, which would rule over the country. But nobody really did any in-depth analysis, realizing that the people who were part of the Northern Alliance were not the same ethnic slant tribal group as the people who constituted the vast majority of the population. And they were not going to hold still while their aeons-long adversaries get to rule over them. So, what do? Well, you say, okay, well, we're going to try to form a democratic state. We're going to train their army to provide security, and we're going to shore them up. And when you put training missions in, then you have to provide security for the training missions, and that, and then it's Vietnam all over again. And I mean,
the good news,
that's literally the same plan that got us involved in Vietnam.
Yeah,
the good news is that we have
cool music.
Yeah, true. The good news is we have a wealth of history to look back upon to see, to try and inform our future actions. The bad news is there's a wealth of history that informs everybody's actions in this region.
You got to read the history books first, Andrew.
There is a reference to this exact situation by Sun Tzu. Hold on, I think I've got it. Let's put that up here. I think he said that. I'm pretty sure it sounds like something he'd say.
It's certainly close to what he would say.
The other thing he'd say is, don't take a television personality and make with basically zero experience and make him the head of the Defense Department. It's always felt like, I have to tell you, my general sense of anxiety in life has gone up because I'm aware that, like, all of the experienced people in various rather important sections, like the FBI, Kash Patel fired 50%. You've brought this up a couple of times, Lance. 50% of the team that was dedicated to finding Iranian spies in the U.S. and cells operating in the U.S. He fired them because they were counterintelligence, which means they were also involved in the classified documents that were at Mar-a-Lago. Because that fell under their same purview. And he said, well, you went after Trump, so you're fired. It's like, these guys were amongst the most experienced FBI agents we've got, and they're gone. And then you start a war that, speaking of that same study that I was talking about, the war said over 70%, I think it was 71%, of people expect there to be an Iranian terrorist attack in the U.S. And I assume they're not talking about a stochastic one, but
directly into his hands.
So what does he do when it happens?
Well, we're under direct threat. Clearly, we have to declare martial law, and we can't possibly hold midterms with people queuing up in polling lines. And they'd be targets for the horrible terrorists. So we have to cancel the election. We'll do that sometime when things have calmed down. And I know this is.
Do you think that targeting?
This is conspiracy theory 101. I'll put my little tin hat on for you.
Do you think that targeting of California is start that bullshit?
Yeah.
Do you think that what in California?
The targeting of California from Iran. Yeah, is like the beginning of the bullshit levels.
Well, I do think that's.
If they can't hit the East Coast, how in the blank can they hit California?
I do think that's bullshit, but I think Lance had brought up before that he is making it a lot easier for them to do that. Kash Patel's firing of these guys and the firing of anybody who's competent, he's all but inviting an attack. And then if there isn't one, there's ways to fake it.
Who needs a false flag?
Yeah.
Who needs one? They can just allow them to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is but I don't think that they are interested in it. I think they know they're causing so much damage on their own. I don't think they have any interest in organized terror here, in part because they're also aware. I think you had cautioned against this. You said we were talking about the chance of a rebellion. And you had said you're going to get one of two things. You're either going to get a whole bunch of people who are willing to get murdered in droves, which the rebellion against the regime has been willing to do. But you do enough damage, you get enough boots on the ground that you do that, and then they can do something like that. Or you get nationalism.
I just realized you talk about the rebellion in Iran. I thought you were talking about the USA.
Yeah, I was lost a little bit at the start there too.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Okay, yeah, I should have been more clear.
Sign of the times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also
when
it comes to like the sleeper cells or threat in the U.S., it's like also Sun Tzu, never interrupt your enemies while they're making mistakes. Why would they want to try and activate a bunch of sleeper cells to do a lot of damage in the United States, which they should already be very well aware is the fastest way to stop all of the infighting in the U.S. and bickering over who's doing what, and bring everybody together and say, no, you need to drop the fucking Sorry. Oh, wait, this is Downtime.
Yeah, this is Downtime.
Drop the damn, drop that damn hammer on them as hard as you possibly can. So, yeah, that would be kind of strategically stupid on their part to want to do any kinds of attacks directly against the United States.
That's my thinking, people have done stupid things, so they may do it. If the new supreme leader is alive, which I'm not convinced, because we haven't seen him, we haven't heard him, he's given out a message, but the message was read by somebody else, so we have no evidence he's alive. We do know for a fact he was targeted in the same strikes that killed his dad, his mom, his siblings, killed his children, killed his wife. So he would be the only one to have survived it. The rumors are he has survived it, but he may have lost a leg and may have some significant damage to his face, and that's why he's not showing it. Or he's dead, and they've declared him anyway because it just screws with us some more, and they can maintain the head of the judiciary, the president, and I think it's the head of the Republican Guard. They
can give their own people a sense that they're still somewhat in control, because we did get a new leader within 48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do.
So, assuming, they can keep us so preoccupied over there and do so much damage to the American currency and not have this sense of patriotism that's washing over them, even people who at first have been, we hate the Ayatollah regime. We've created the new guy is purportedly even worse than his dad was. So they appear to be rallying around a new leader, and I don't think they want us to do the same if they can help it. Having said that, he's probably so pissed at us if he is alive. Who knows what he's going to do, but he can really screw with us just in this strait. The other, you had mentioned Dunc every few weeks. It seems to coincide with whenever there's breaking on the Epstein files, all of a sudden there's a big new thing somewhere that we all have to look at. What most people don't know, and we did not cover, in part because it was an accountant. The Epstein's accountant gave testimony today. We're going to go over it. My suspicion is there isn't going to be anything there. The Republicans said, he denied having any knowledge of any criminal activities going on at the island or anywhere else through Epstein's vast financial empire. And the Democrats have all said, there's no way this guy didn't know. It's not possible to run an operation that large, that illegal, and be paying people who are literally trafficking in other human beings and have him not say why are we paying this much money to a person out of Romania or Russia or whatever? So they're not satisfied, and obviously there's going to be, more.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not presenting his books.
I don't know what they've subpoenaed. My suspicion is he kept more than one ledger. That's what the mafia does.
Yeah. One to show to the IRS, one not to show to the IRS.
Well, one said, "Do not show to IRS, Congress, or."
Sorry. I'm stealing that from the producers. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's a good callback. But most people don't even know. And again, one of the reasons we didn't cover it is because we figured, okay, it's his attorney. We're not going to be covering the tax stuff unless there's something big in there, and there probably isn't, and there wasn't that we've seen so far. But most people don't know that there was these deposition was going on, and I think the reason is because everybody's preoccupied by the war. So I think you're right. In as much as it's taking away attention from other things, in particular the Epstein file, and I think that's the one. I think we're in there for two reasons. One, because Benjamin Netanyahu has something on Trump, maybe that he got from Epstein, because Epstein appears to have been working for Mossad. So he's like, Trump, old buddy, we're going to go in and do this. And Trump said, hey, this works out for me because I don't really give a shit about human life. I don't give a shit about American lives. I don't give a shit about anyone or anything, but this will distract from my problems. So we go in. And he did. That was one of the spookiest things I've ever seen, was when he was talking to Zelensky. And at first he had chided Zelensky as a dictator for not holding elections. And then once he found out that, and then he like puts his hand on Zelensky's knees. And he's not having elections because it turns out, I don't know if and it goes to the camera, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but if you're in war, you don't have to hold elections. And I'm sitting there going like, the American president isn't acknowledging that it's a right, you don't have to.
You can literally see the light bulb go off above his head.
And nobody's like, wow.
Although I've talked about this with Lance in the past, and apparently it does not work in the same way in the U.S. Constitution. Although, Constitution be damned, who cares?
There's a lot of things in the U.S. Constitution that seem to be much more flexible than once thought.
People wonder why I don't support Trump.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Just in the last 2 weeks, we can say the 4th, the 5th. God, any number of. I have no idea. It's absolutely insane. So let me ask you for a final projection. I mean, I would like to think, unless shit really goes to hell in a handbasket, which it's on its way, I will absolutely grant, that Trump would have a very hard time canceling elections. He may give it a real stab and use the war and use exactly what you just said as a reason, but that he's going to have a hard time doing it. What would you... But if he fails, this is our last set of elections. Either we elect Democrats or we've lost it. Because if we get Republicans who are pro-Trump, that's it. It's over. None of our institutions survive it. This is our last shot. But I think we're going to be able to get it. That's my view. What do you think?
I would contend that even if you get Democratic majorities, it's still going to be a long time to get back to normalcy as we understood it pre-Trump. Because so many things have been undermined and changed or dismantled. So I think we're going to be struggling for a long time to recover from what he's done. And yeah, as you say, if we don't get that done, then yeah, it's way bye-bye to the democracy as we exit stage left.
Yeah.
Or in this case, stage right.
Until the revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isandring, so what are your thoughts on that, or anything else that you'd like to add before we call it a night?
I think that, well, one of Trump's kind of dumb, and he's just trying to fit anything together, whether it actually makes any kind of sense or not, and hasn't applied any kind of critical thinking to any of these things. He just pushes out narratives. He's like, oh, well, this is going to help you. You know, oh, light bulb goes off. Hey, it turns out when you're in war, you don't have to have elections. Well, turns out we've been in war a lot and had elections. And the reason is because nobody's been attacking our mainland. It's like Zelensky is fighting for in his actual own country, where, you know, a large chunk of it, where in the heck did that word come from? Chunk of it,
Canada,
is occupied. Yeah, is occupied by an invading force.
But it's not
So,
just that.
yeah.
I think the struggle that Ukraine is in is literally an existential struggle.
Right.
Because if they lose, the Russians will make sure that they never can do anything even vaguely resembling what they're doing now.
Yeah, so it's like put two brain cells together. They've got to be there somewhere. And, you know, think about this for a moment. It's like, and that's what I think bugs me. One of the things that bugs me so much. And when people are like, I can't believe that, you know, you claim to be, you know, conservative, especially when it comes to the Constitution. I'm like, yeah, exactly. You know, would you like the 3,800 things that he's done that are unconstitutional? You know, there's a list. It's online. Go look it up. You know, it's like this is, yeah, I do care about the Constitution, and I care about fiscal and financial, you know, responsibility, monetary policy. You know, all of these things have gone wildly out of control in the United States. So yeah, I have this problem. You know, and so, so you want the other people? No, I want like sane, rational people that, you know, actually care about, you know, I don't know, our country. You know, it's like there's a lot of criticism of the age of empires, you know, which posits that the average age of any empire is approximately 250 years, which what is happening July 4th? You know, it's starting to lend a lot of credence to that book.
Yeah, which is okay. So for the rest of our audience, show goes down. We've had a great show. You know, I was like, we should all have like some champagne. It was a really nice show. And then Isandring's like, let me tell you why the U.S. is probably just going to go extinct. Like, and if we don't worry, the whole human race is just going to get wiped out. Let me give you like a whole bunch of reasons. So I was like, but I was about to have some champagne. And then for 20 minutes, Isandring's just like, you know, here's how, yeah. So this is what I have to deal with after the show. Please continue.
I just wanted to, you know, hey, you criticize me,
yes,
when I'm downing you, and you're still criticizing even when I tried to up you. Come on, the butterflies are returning to England.
Yeah, that makes everything all better.
fuck 'em.
It should.
Yeah, Dunc called that one. I do want to, I'm going to, this actually does, before I get to Dunc's comments, I did actually want to ask about one other area, which is my assumption, Commander, and please let me know if, because it's very layman, is that basically Netanyahu is going to, he's now arguing that that Hezbollah has upped their strikes, and so they're going to have to occupy Lebanon for at least a period of time, yada, yada. I assume that's all horseshit, and that the whole goal from the beginning has been to occupy half, if not all, of Lebanon. Is that, any thoughts on that?
I think the plan from the very outset was that they knew this would precipitate Hezbollah attacks. So they were going to go in and occupy that southern quarter of Lebanon. But I think as time has gone on, he's just gotten more and more, we could do more. You know, emboldened by his own successes in Iran.
So probably for the near future, at a minimum. Well, they haven't given back much of any of the land. Have they given back? Have they ever given back land that they've taken either in Gaza or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Camp David Accords. There was a bunch of stuff that was given back, or assurances that, you know, there would be a right of return and so forth. But that didn't stay in effect for a particularly long time.
All right. I'm going to read this. This came out from CNN. I'm just going to try to make it quick. It's a very timely discussion. CNN, they posted this just over an hour ago. The Pentagon and the National Security Council significantly underestimated Iran's willingness to close the Strait of Hormuz in response to U.S. strikes.
Who could have anticipated this? Who?
Donald Trump's national security team failed to fully account for the potential consequences of what some officials have described now as a worst-case scenario facing the administration. A number of people from the Department of Energy and Treasury were apparently not briefed and not present at a number of the so-called planning meetings. The president, meanwhile, has continued to downplay the effects of the war on the energy markets. The reality in the strait has left diplomatic counterparts, former U.S. economic and energy officials in a state of confusion and disbelief. Planning around preventing this exact scenario, long thought impossible, has been a bedrock principle of U.S. national security policy for decades. Oh my God! Yeah.
If you really wanted to collapse the U.S., essentially, you would do pretty much all of the things Trump is doing.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed. And there was a book written
You're
about
not
it.
the first to have noticed. Lots of people have noticed.
There was a book written about it. From an economic point of view, but it's also what Trump does with businesses, which he buys businesses that are already in very high stakes, high risk, high reward situations. If they get the reward, great. If they fail, he takes them bankrupt. Shills himself gets to keep a huge percentage of the equity and the money and foots all the other investors and or clients of whatever the business was with the bill. And, that's a tactic. That's essentially what Gordon Gekko was doing in Wall Street. And if you want to do that kind of thing, yeah, Trump is replace. And the interesting thing to me is it's exactly, and this gets back to what you said about the Gilded Age. Gold is the perfect, gold foil is the perfect analogy for that, because it's like it makes things look like they're made of gold. It makes them look pretty, but there's no substance there. There's no reality there. It's all this video game stuff that he's putting out from the White House. That's, we know how to kill things because we play video games.
Potemkin Village.
Yes. That was, in fact, somebody had just said that the U.S. is turning both the economy and the military into a Potemkin village. I was just like, son of a bitch.
As a wonderful closing note that needs to be remembered, as I won't say background, but perhaps forward-looking background. Xi has declared that, the Chinese military shall be ready to launch the invasion of Taiwan next year.
I wanted to ask you, this is...
Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but when you declare that, and you've got the U.S. overcommitted in here and all these other stupid things that Dumbo is doing... if I were an ambitious Chinese who wanted to seize the island, that might be the opportune time to do it, because your main adversary's overcommitted.
And Trump has said that he has no real interest in defending Taiwan anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the Chinese boats that have been developing off of a contested island, not Taiwan, it's contested with the Japanese, and they've been just sitting there. And they've been developing for some time, and they had wandered a little bit into a zone they're not supposed to wander, and then they've wandered out. And they're all fishing boats, from what everybody says. Now, that doesn't tell you what's in them, I suppose. But have you heard about this? Do you know anything about this?
Nope.
All right. Well,
But
no.
That's kind of, if you want to pressure somebody to relax fishing restrictions, in other words, to allow your vessels to fish in their territorial waters or their economic exclusion area, that's probably how you would go about doing it.
All right.
And the Japanese, really, the only response you can have to that is to send in your Coast Guard and start, pushing these guys out or arresting them. And then the Chinese government can declare, state of emergency and sortie their navy, and then things go downhill from that point.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We brought that one up on in time on so like, why are the Chinese suddenly bringing? But I am going to say just that once again, planning to prevent this exact scenario has been the bedrock of U.S. national policy. So Trump has walked us into the one thing. Oh, dear Lord. So to our foreign guest, both literally from the UK, used to be a special relationship. Now it's kind of a you guys are. Yeah, you're in a special ed relationship with us now.
We're getting divorced.
Oh, dear. So, and as a guest on Downtime, first of all, thank you very much for joining us on such short notice.
No, I just want to point out you haven't mentioned the Shoegate in Washington D.C.
Shoegate.
Yes, where Donald Trump ordered shoes.
Oh yes,
that's fancy, expensive shoes for all his cabinet members, and none of them fit. And you have Marco Rubio walking around in shoes that are like 4 times bigger than they're supposed to be, and he looks like he's like dad. He's dressing up in dad's clothes now. Have you not seen this?
I haven't. I've heard none of this. But
it's just that one picture of Rubio in those shoes is all you need to see. It speaks volumes. It's like. He wants to, give them an attaboy, give the workers a gift to show that the boss is really appreciative of their efforts. So here's some expensive shoes. Did you ask anybody what their shoe sizes were? No. I'm too brilliant for that. I'm just going to guess.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, everybody is stuck in the position of you can't, say no to Trump.
You can't not. I think this is kind of like Trump just trying to. Assert his authority over the people in his cabinet, saying, you can't say no to the shoes. You've got to wear them. You're going to look like a dickhead, but I am in power of you.
Interesting. Some of the folks in the chat stream are saying, no, these were not expensive. These are like $150 a pair of shoes.
Actually, that's
from just a standard brand.
Yeah, That's more like Trump.
That makes far more sense for Trump.
Yeah.
So
don't give people a Rolex. Give them a Timex with cracked glass.
It keeps on ticking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, I have seen the picture. Let me snag this real quick. And oh wow, yeah, this is bad. I can't believe. Thank you. This is a perfect note to end on. See, this is Isandring. This is why we brought Dunc on.
I just bring this.
We're
wait until the credits roll.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on a second. I want to check one more thing because I think I got. Yeah. All right. So this is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes.
Can you zoom in on that? Zoom in on that.
I hadn't seen that version.
Actually, the socks too.
Like
I'm sorry,
shoes.
but the socks you can see the socks so much better now. You're like, those are really bad socks.
Need some thicker socks.
Oh.
Whatever happened to just plain old regular black socks?
Look, yeah, he can't even. Oh my God, wow.
That's bad.
That is. Let's do the. 'There we go. So that's wow.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go. So that's wow. Okay, hold on a second. I want to check one more thing because I think I got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. We've got. There's Marco Rubio. In these shoes. This is it. Yeah,
I got him as a gift from our overlord.
Rubio
Yeah,
is
Trump wants to he's doing everything that would be required to actually start a collapse in the United States so that he can carve out his own little fiefdom and kind of rebuild it in his own image, and then he doesn't have to worry about elections anymore. And I don't see how he figures he's going to live long enough to do this.
Yeah. That's the thing I've been thinking about.
Speculation that he's been, short selling.
Oh yeah, maybe he's trying to make a hell of a lot of money off the.
A lot of people have been short. Yeah.
Is he selling shorts now?
No. Like stocks and such, because if you anticipate in a major economic crisis, everything is going to collapse, and then you can, because you've already bought the stocks at way reduced prices. Suddenly,
Well, and he somebody from the White House is giving out information to some members of Congress and other members of because there's at every major turn right before Trump announces something that's going to have a profound economic impact on some sector of the economy, somebody either shorts it or longs it based on, and they're right now one of the futures markets that's a private futures market is suing to find out who won by going short a huge amount on the war 4 hours before it happened. 4 hours before it happened, they went short on what was the position that it wouldn't happen or something like that, and then just made a huge amount of money. So, it's a grift. He is a used car salesman. That's it. So, Dunc, any final thoughts for us stuck with our used car salesman of a
Absolutely. I got loads of thoughts. Because I mean, I don't know how many people in the chat know me. Some of them do, but me and Dick over at the Shills, we started doing a show called the 42 Show. Probably almost like 2 years ago, before Trump got elected. And it was like a real fast-paced news show. We'd talk about, cars, right to repair. And I would bring up stupid stories of the kid who, won the gold impersonation contest, and sharks and dolphins attacking boats and all this kind of stuff. So it was like really, really fast paced, really fast paced, a lot of fun. Now, what happened over the year is like Trump decimated the news cycle and anything that was interesting or fun. And we found ourselves just like we're talking about Trump all the time. So we kind of like dropped the 42 Show because we got nothing to fucking talk about anymore apart from this dude. And it's been really hard. It's been hard on my mental health because there's been no fun in it. And as we're doing it was really interesting. As when we started, we'd pick up on stories about Trump, about the stupid things he's done. He's brought out a guitar, he's brought out watches, he's doing trainers and all this kind of stuff, and it was stupid. But then it just keeps edging away, just chipping at stuff, and throughout, I would imagine if you go back and watch all those videos, which would be great for the algorithm. you just go, it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. And it literally gets worse every single day. It gets worse and worse and worse. And we've still got a long way to go before even the midterms.
Yeah.
Which might be cancelled. Never mind an actual election, even if we get there. And it's terrifying. It's agonizing to be someone on YouTube who used to do stuff for fun and having to try to make fun out of this. I try. I'm an obnoxious little git, and yeah, I'm just scared. Just scared where this is going to go.
Well, we do on Sundays, we do that weekly update thing. And
Yeah.
there's this guest that comes in that keeps bringing the tone down because everybody else is trying to be fun and funny about it. But
Yeah, because
he
he's
just keeps finding
knowledgeable.
dreary crap to bring up.
Yeah.
I think you should fire that asshole.
Well, Dick, yeah, you're out. You're out here,
It's
Dick.
funny you should mention that.
No, it's not. It's not funny, and it doesn't set any precedents. And I think that thank you. Everyone has gotten in their last comments, and if you want someone who's gonna,
I want to know what he says now.
well, don't worry because
I was like, now I want to know.
just wait until the show's over, and in the green room, if you thought things couldn't get worse, he will tell you how much worse things could get, and in fact will get, statistically speaking, at any time now. You thought you wanted to slit your wrist beforehand. Just wait.
Not really statistically speaking, geologically speaking.
I do need to sleep tonight, so no nightmares. It's kind of interesting that in my recommended feed on YouTube came up yesterday was that film Threads. Do you remember Threads?
I do remember Threads. Yes. Yes.
The UK film about a nuclear apocalypse.
By Turner, I think, if I remember correctly.
It's like these are the things that's showing up in recommendations now. It's just like this is what the world is looking at.
Yep.
And it's terrifying.
Well, and
on a good note.
well, we are launching.
On the good note, we are launching. Yeah, on the good note, we are launching the official End Time Apocalypse bunker.
Yes.
We haven't quite decided exactly where we're going to put it, but if you would like to donate to, purchase maybe a former missile silo or something that we can convert into living quarters for when everything goes to hell, and everybody comes in and they buy their own little room, and we'll live communally without trying to kill each other.
Yeah, do you know what's really funny? There's a roundabout just down the road from me where I take my wife to hospital. We're always fucking there. Don't talk to me about the hospitals. But anyway, this roundabout has gone through like a major kind of like development. I don't know what's going on underneath there. They there was like dug the whole thing up. They put in on these like preformed plastic grates and compacting it with sand and stuff. And there was like a concrete tunnel that was like sticking up in the ground. I was thinking, oh. Nuclear bunker. That'll come in handy.
Well,
I get to in 6 minutes.
I haven't heard of this End Time bunker, but I believe I'm sure Isandring, whatever he's selling for End Time, he is 100% guaranteed, backed by End Time technology and End Time production value. We probably shouldn't be advertising that. It'll work despite being an End Time brand. We'll get someone else to produce it.
I think you just stick your ass up in the air and kiss it goodbye.
No, because we need super chat. Speaking of, Ken Vet gifted one membership and did his good deed for the day. Thank you for that. Sorry it took so long to get to it, but thank you very much for that. It is, and it's Lance and I have gone through it because Downtime is supposed to be a more relaxed show, but if we don't cover some of this stuff, we feel like we're not really doing justice to the.
So relaxed.
Glad we could
just
help.
wait. It gets better.
Yeah, It gets, Well, and that was one of the reasons I was just like, let's have Dunc on. That'll lighten the mood. Yeah.
Didn't work. Sorry.
But that was really fun.
But thanks for having me. It's been cool to hang out with you guys.
It's been great having you. And I don't know. I was going to come up with something, but I guess my brain is too addled by this point. But I hadn't put the Shills, so I put both Shills channels in the description. It's in there now because if I don't do it now, I always say like, "Oh, I'll put it in after the show," and then after the credits roll, I get distracted by someone who's giving me doomsday scenarios, and I forget to put it in. So I actually did it now, and we are going to send everybody to Dylan Burns, who is actually having a debate with. I think he's 2 MAGA, so it's 2-on-2 debate on what was the it was MAGA debating the war, I think. So I think I'm going to go down.
Interesting stuff. Go check it out.
To check out, yeah, I want to check out. Oh dear Lord!
Yeah, but will I be happy at the end of it?
Oh, and I heard Shills noises too, and I'm sitting there going like, okay, is that Dunc or is that playing on my end? We definitely need to get a producer. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Isandring, and thank you, Dunc, for joining us. Thank you, Dick, for letting us all make fun of you too for a little while, even though you're not on the show to defend yourself.
No.
I most like to make fun of people who aren't on the show and can't defend themselves. Once they can defend themselves, they're not soft targets anymore. And so it's not that I lose interest as much as self-preservation. Just like I'm not up for a
Dick
battle
is
of
like
wits.
Iran then.
Yeah, exactly. So he's on the other side. I can just lob shit at him, and hopefully, he's not going to.
He can fire back. Don't worry.
I'm sure he can.
Did you just say Dick is like Ayn Rand?
No, I said he can't fire. Dear Lord. Okay. Yep. We've officially gone off the rails. Anyway, yeah, Dick and I have a history, so he knows where the bodies are buried is my problem. But then again, so do I. So far, it's just mutually assured destruction. All right. Thank you all. Say hi to Dylan. Have fun at Dylan's. I think Dylan is very talented, and I think it's going to be an interesting discussion, and I will join you there shortly. Have a good night, all.
Good night, you buggers.
Doodles.